The 2023 season for the Packers was one where heading into it was one of waiting and seeing how the many young, talented players that the Packers had accumulated over the past few years would perform. From the young wide receiver room to brand new starting quarterback Jordan Love, how these young guys performed will make or break the future expectations for this team. And make it they did, as the Packers as a team exceeded all expectations, showing great progress on offense, making the playoffs, and dominating the Cowboys in the wild card round before losing to the 49ers in the divisional round. This is the first video in my yearly series where I go back and look at the Packers and grade each player based on what their expectations were heading into the season and their overall performance during the season as well. The grading scale is as followed. A is for a player that had an all-pro caliber season or way exceeded expectations. B is for a player that had a Pro Bowl caliber season or did exceed expectations. C is for players that had a solid season and made their expectations. D is for a player that had a disappointing season. And F is for players that completely stunk it up. So let's go ahead and get started with the first two position groups of the series, the quarterback and running back rooms. This was a new era for the Packers, as for the first time since 2007, the Packers starting quarterback for the season opener was someone other than Aaron Rodgers. There was a huge amount of pressure on Jordan Love, as the fan base did not know much about his capabilities on the field. There were plenty of people on social media before the season started calling Jordan Love one of the worst quarterbacks in the NFL, a complete bust, without really seeing him play. But Jordan got off to a hot start in his first three starts, having 655 passing yards, 7 touchdowns, and 1 interception, with a 2-1 record and an impressive come-from-behind victory against the Saints in Week 3. Then the wheels kind of came off a bit over the next 4 games, where Green Bay went 0-4. Love was a key factor in why that happened, as he struggled with turnovers, throwing 7 interceptions in those 4 games with only 4 touchdowns. But after the Minnesota game and starting against the Rams in Week 9, Love was fantastic, playing like a top 5 quarterback in the league. In that 10-game span, Love had a completion percentage of 68.7, 21 touchdowns to only 3 interceptions, and led a comeback in the standings for the Packers, where they went 7-3 down the stretch and made the playoffs in his first year starting. And in those playoffs, Love and the Packers put the NFL world on notice with a massive performance against the Cowboys, where Jordan just carved through one of the best defenses in the regular season. The ride came to an end in San Francisco, though, where Love playing solid, but having 2 interceptions late in the game that basically closed the deal on the Packers' loss. In the playoffs overall, Love had 466 passing yards, 5 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, with a completion percentage of 67.27%, and a passer rating of 108.6. Overall, for the 2023 season, Love had 4,159 passing yards, good for 7th in the NFL, 32 passing touchdowns, which was 2nd in the NFL, 11 interceptions, a 64.2% completion percentage, a passer rating of 96.1, a 98 record, 1-1 in the playoffs, and an AV of 15, which is kind of similar to like baseball WAR, but for NFL. This was an excellent season for Jordan Love, which exceeded all of my expectations for him. I'm giving him a grade of B+ for the season, as he had a Pro Bowl caliber year. It was just that middle chunk of the year where he did not play well that prevents Jordan from getting an A, but the Packers have done it again. They have 3 straight franchise quarterbacks, and the rest of the NFC North is terrified of what comes next. 2023 was Dylan's 4th season of being the running mate of Aaron Jones, providing the Packers was a bit of thunder compared to Jones' lightning. But sadly, the thunder fell a bit flat last season, as this was Dylan's worst season since his rookie year, where he was 3rd on the depth chart behind Aaron Jones and Jamal Williams. He posted his lowest stats of his career, with having 613 rushing yards on 178 attempts, averaging a pitiful 3.4 yards per attempt with 2 touchdowns. Some of that wasn't his fault, as there was many runs he had where the O-line completely failed to block for him. But this still was not a good season for Dylan, who is a free agent this offseason. This was a make-or-break season for AJ, and we really needed him to step up, especially after Aaron Jones missed a ton of time early in the season with injuries. But Dillon instead took a step back this year, and it's concerning going forward if the Packers do resign him. I'm giving Dillon a grade of C-, as he really did struggle this year, but had a couple of nice moments. I doubt that he will be back next season, which is unfortunate because I really, really like Dillon as a person and as a player. The de facto captain of the offense heading into the season, Aaron Jones provided a ton of value for the young Packers offense when he was healthy. The main problem for Jones was that he missed 6 games this season, which did hurt the offense when A.J. Dillon had to take over primary ball-carrying duties. The season got off to a hot start for Jones against the Bears, where he had over 120 total yards and 2 touchdowns before leaving with injury. He came back a few games later, but was obviously limited in his touches due to hamstring injuries. He then missed 3 more games before coming back for the playoff push. His last 3 games of the regular season was fantastic, reaching over 100 yards rushing in all 3 games to end the year. Jones was even better in the playoffs, proving that the ownership of the Dallas Cowboys in the playoffs still belonged to a guy named Aaron, having 108 yards on the ground and 3 touchdowns in their blowout victory. He had another good game against the 49ers, having his 5th straight 100-yard game. Overall, for the 2023 season, Jones has 656 rushing yards, 233 receiving yards, 3 total touchdowns, and averaging 5.2 yards per touch. I'm giving Jones a grade of B for the 2023 season, as he put up really good numbers when he was healthy. I fully expect Jones to be back next season, as GM Brian Gutekunst has stated that is one of his top priorities this offseason is to bring back Jones. I can't wait to see what he has to bring to the Pack next year, as he is a guy I want to be a Packer for life. Patrick Taylor was the 4th running back for the Packers this year, being put on a practice squad to begin the season. He did appear in 11 games last year as a practice squad call-up to provide depth when either Jones or Dillon went down with injury. Taylor had 141 yards rushing on 32 attempts, averaging 4.4 yards per carry. He also had 49 yards receiving as well. I'm giving Taylor just the average grade of C, as he was pretty decent for a 4th running back, providing some good depth for the Packers. I would be surprised if he is brought back to the team, as there are a couple of other options that are younger than Taylor on the roster, as well as I fully expect the Packers to take him back in the draft. A surprise player that made the 53-man roster out of the preseason, the undrafted rookie out of small Fort Valley State, had a lot of potential that the Packers liked out of him. He only appeared in 7 games as a rookie, as injuries derailed the end of his season when a lot of Packers running backs were used. He had 14 rushes, got 85 yards out of them, averaging 6.1 yards per attempt on a limited sample size. I'm giving Wilson a grade of C, as they were primarily for depth and showed some flashes in his limited sample size. I expect him to be back as the 3rd back again next season, hopefully make some strides to potentially gun for the 2nd spot behind Aaron Jones. Well, that is all for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you do, remember to like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll be back here soon with some more content for you. Peace out.